It's 2:13 a.m. The room is quiet, but your mind isn't. Your thumb keeps scrolling almost automatically, like it doesn't want to stop. Video after video, face after face, people laughing, talking, living their lives. For a moment, it almost feels like you're part of something, like you're not alone. But then you stop. You lock your phone, and the light disappears. And suddenly, everything feels quiet again. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of yourself, of your thoughts, of the emptiness you were just distracting yourself from. And somehow, after being connected for hours, you feel more alone than before. Why is that? Why, in a world where we can reach anyone at any time, does loneliness feel heavier than ever? We are living in the most connected time in human history. You can send a message across the world in seconds. You can join communities without ever leaving your bed. You can talk, share, react, and respond at any time of the day. On paper, it sounds like we solved loneliness, but reality feels different. Because more people today say they feel lonely than ever before. Not just alone, but deeply, emotionally disconnected. And that's the paradox. The more ways we have to connect, the less connected we seem to feel. Being alone is physical. Loneliness is something else. It's the feeling that even when you are around others, no one truly understands you. No one really sees you. And that gap between being seen and feeling seen is where loneliness quietly grows. To understand why this is happening, we need to look at something we rarely talk about anymore, something simple but incredibly important. Third places. Your first place is your home. Your second place is your work. But your third place is where life used to happen in between. It was the cafe where you didn't need a plan to show up. The park bench where conversations started without effort. The small food stall where people talked not because they had to, but because they were there. These places weren't about productivity or efficiency. They were about presence. You didn't go there to achieve something. You just existed alongside other people. And in that simple, unplanned space, connection happened naturally. You didn't have to perform or overthink. You just showed up, and somehow, that was enough. But over time, these spaces began to disappear. Some became too expensive. Some were replaced by faster, more convenient alternatives. And some were still there, but we stopped using them the same way. Because now, we have something easier, something always available. Our phones. Why go out when you can scroll? Why risk awkward conversations when you can stay comfortable? Why sit in silence with others when you can fill every moment with content? Without realizing it, we slowly traded something important. We replaced unplanned connection with controlled interaction. Everything became more efficient, more predictable, more curated. But in that process, something human was lost, something messy, spontaneous, and real. This is where it becomes more than just a social change. It becomes psychological. In the past, loneliness had a clear cause. You were physically alone. Today, it's different. You send a message, and you see that it's been read, but there's no reply. Minutes pass, then hours, and your mind starts filling in the gaps. Did I say something wrong? Am I bothering them? Did they lose interest? Even if none of that is true, Your brain doesn't treat silence as neutral, it treats it as rejection. And these moments don't happen just once. They repeat in small, almost invisible ways. A message ignored, a post unnoticed, a conversation that fades without explanation. Each one feels small on its own, but over time, they start to build something deeper. Not anger, not sadness, but doubt, a quiet, persistent feeling that maybe you are not as important as you thought. This is the new form of loneliness. It doesn't look dramatic, and it doesn't always show on the surface. You can still go to gatherings, you can still reply to messages, you can still appear connected. But inside, something feels off, like you're present but not fully there, like people see you but don't really notice you, because being connected is not the same as being understood, and being surrounded is not the same as being seen. And when that feeling repeats often enough, it changes how you see yourself. You start holding back. You start questioning your value. You become quieter, not because you have nothing to say, but because you're not sure if it matters. Here's the part most people get wrong. They think the problem is them, that they are not interesting enough, not social enough, not enough in some way. The truth is simpler than that. The environment changed. We built a world that prioritizes speed over depth, access over presence, quantity over quality. And in that world, real connection became harder to find. Not impossible, but less natural, less automatic. It now requires intention, something we didn't need as much before. So, the loneliness you feel is not a personal failure. It's a response to a system that changed faster than we could adapt to it. So maybe the answer isn't more connection, not more messages, not more notifications, not more noise. Maybe the answer is something smaller, but deeper. One real conversation where you're fully present. One moment where you're not distracted. One place where you don't feel like you have to perform. Because loneliness is not about how many people you can reach. It's about how many people you can truly feel and who can truly feel you. And maybe, in a world that never stops talking, the most powerful thing you can do is simply be there. Not online, not somewhere else, but here, fully present. Because sometimes, connection doesn't start with finding more people. It starts with showing up as you are, in the same space as someone else, and letting that be enough.